Right, so as you can see, I've just not long put the sign up, the CCTV sign. So the reason why I've put a new one up, as you know, the old one was a bit tattered and torn, which is the small one that says CCTV in the top window.
In the window.
Yeah. I originally bought that with a camera when I went on holiday. Obviously the sunlight's all tattered and torn it. So I went on to Amazon last night and I pre-ordered a brand new one, which is plastic, so I don't need to worry about the weather elements destroying it. So I've drilled 4 holes into it, so it can be screwed onto the side of the shed. I've used 4 self-tapping screws, so shouldn't have a problem with that. Now, the contact information obviously belongs to myself. The reason why I've done that is because obviously with allotments you have a lot of people that tend to, you know, steal off allotments. It could be tools, it could be vegetables, even things like, you know, it could be anything really.
And there's a lot on allotments that can be stolen, just looking around.
Yeah, definitely. Polytunnels, greenhouses. I've even known people to try and attempt to steal plastic plant pots. I think it's a bit petty myself, but you know, it's still...
There's a good thing with your allotment, there's no plastic plant pots anywhere here, so...
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely not, there's none, definitely none at all, but you're covered there.
Well, there you go. So
you taking the old one down?
Yes, I will be taking the old one down shortly, and I'll try and give that bit of a top window a bit of clean. It's probably got, you know, the glue still from the other side, but I think that one is a lot better. It stands out. It's more brighter. It's just I've put it up above the spotlight, so the spotlight's on a 5-second timer. It will only work overnight. So,
we saw that working the last time we were here, just before we were about to leave.
Yeah, it was actually quite bright.
It was, yeah, it surprised me.
Yeah. So, if anybody does walk onto my allotment, as soon as you get halfway up, which will be probably at the other side between both sides of the polytunnel and the greenhouse, the sensor will obviously pick you up, the spotlight will come on. Now, if you're wondering why I've got it so far down, is because if you can have a look, we are quite closely surrounded by houses.
Yeah.
And it is a very bright spotlight. It's not mains powered, it is actually run off a solar panel, which all I've done is screwed that to the other side of the shed, with the wire just tucked in behind the double glazed window. So yeah, it doesn't need too much sunlight, and it does the job that it's intended to do. So I've positioned it quite down enough so it doesn't at night disturb or blare into the people's houses.
Yeah.
In case you wake them up.
You don't want to be annoying the neighbours.
Well, exactly. But also, we do have a lot of trouble with foxes and cats. So I've had the problem in the past of when I was planting my flowers that the cats would intend to come at night and obviously do, you know, their own mess around the bottoms of the plants. Or they intend to, if you're planting vegetables or young bulbs, they obviously dig them up, use the hole to poo in, and dig them over, which is not good if you've got to dig it out. So obviously having this area here all lit up obviously is a good idea, because if you're a cat and you're in the dark and then you suddenly get blinded by a light, then
normally means it's time for you to go.
It's time for you to go.
And obviously that light also serves a safety purpose.
It does,
for the thing that you stood by.
Exactly. So yeah, so this is a pond which I've not long just repaired. The old pond liner had been in for about 2 or 3 years, and over the winter it got punctured. I'm not quite sure by what. So yet again, just went onto Amazon and bought this really heavy duty thick plastic. And I, you know, it took me a couple of hours, but I had to remove the old membrane. Obviously, I dug the hole extra deeper this time, put a lot more thought and effort into it, because I've got a big water lily, which I got donated from another chap on another site. And obviously, as you know, water lilies need depth, so I've actually dug the middle of the centre of the pond out an extra 2 foot. So there's from the middle, I would say the full depth to water surface is now 2.5 foot, and then around the outer circle of the pond, I'd say is 1.5 foot. And obviously that will just have the other plants that I've also got, which I've got to yet still put in. I actually did replace the old water fountain, seeming as the propeller inside had packed in, which I was quite upset about because it was quite nice. So yeah, yet again, went onto Amazon and ordered this nice little floating water feature. Wasn't actually expensive, I think it was like £24. Floats on a bit of foam, and then it just sucks up the water. You get 4 or 5 different heads with it as well for different water features. I particularly like that one because it just fans out. So the water panel, well, so the solar panel, it just clips in, which is all water protected. You can have it different ways, but I for now have just stuck it there on top of a house brick, which there's soil underneath here from what I dug out, but I've covered that over, stopped the rain getting to it because I'm intending to use it to grow obviously more vegetables in. So yeah, that's full swing. Just before I go, I'm going to comment that they're not real ducks, they're plastic. Just want to put that
in case you were questioning it.
Yeah. So yeah, they are artificial, as you can see. They just float about.
There is 2 there.
I would like to, at some point, paint them. Trying to get some waterproof paint, tart them up a bit, make them look a bit more nicer.
A little bit more realistic too.
Well, I like to get as close to realistic as I possibly can. But I think it looks, quite decent. Obviously, it looks a bit dull at the moment, as you can obviously see. I've done a bit of pruning back, and I'm starting to do a bit of tidying up. There's still a few weeds in order that I might need to, to get up. But as we all know, it's dark and gloomy in the winter time on allotments. Number 1 rule for all those people that are starting out, as I've been asked in the past, when would be the best time to dig up, obviously, weeds? I would say in the winter or in the autumn. Let the rain get onto the soil and soften it up. It's better to stick a fork or a shovel in than doing it in midsummer. As you know, this summer hasn't exactly pleased us to, what we've hoped. It was very dry, very dusty, and the ground was quite solid. So I have waited till now, till the ground's quite softened up. Yeah, it's a bit cold, but with a nice warm shed, which is what I've got. I've got electrics as well in there, run from a solar panel, which I had for free. You can make a cup of tea, make a cup of coffee, get your radio down there. Make sure you got some warm clothes on, because that's the number 1. You don't want to be too cold.
No, you don't.
Make sure you got waterproof shoes on, or wellies, and get stuck in. There's nothing better to it.
You mentioned waterproof shoes.
Okay.
Are they waterproof?
No, these are not waterproof. Obviously, it's what I call each to your own. A lot of people swear by wellies because obviously walking through soggy, wet, places, obviously you'd need them. But to be quite honest, seeming as for what I've got here, my allotment is, concrete paths, which obviously go all between my sections. So I don't need to walk on bare soil because I've got paths, I've got tools which I can just get to where I need them. Yeah, exactly.
It's interesting though, because you're wearing them.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing wellies.
No, not at all.
I'm wearing almost office shoes, so it doesn't really...
Exactly.
It just depends on your plot.
Yeah. So if you look at this one, obviously this lady next door, she's got quite, she's doing the same. She's trying to put paths and that in. But obviously some people, they don't want paths. They'll just dig the whole lot over, wear a bit of wellies, and then when it comes to the year, they'll just put the vegetables straight in, preferably in rows or whatever they want to do. Give it a bit of a water, walk away. Yeah, that's fine. But obviously, you're going to need, in that case, some decent wellies. It's cold, it's wet. It's not the best place if you're going to wear your best shoes down the allotments. Obviously, mine are not, but... So there you go.
Like you said, each to their own.
Each to their own. So, yeah, that's a bit about me. And everything else, little pond. I'll give you a little tour of the pond.
Covered the CCTV
Covered the
sign.
CCTV. think I've mentioned a few other things.
We've done a few other little bits on there as well. Bit of bonus.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, yeah, that's all from at the moment from God of YouTube. So don't forget, please like and subscribe to my channel, and I shall see you next time. Take care.